Hello and welcome back to the Brownie Chat, where we discuss a load of topics.
What was that?
What?
That's new.
Yeah, so
Another week.
we'll be discussing
another week, another episode.
Another week, another episode.
Although we have been MIA.
Yes.
No,
I don't want to point at anyone's fault or anything. But it's just some
episode
people.
44.
Yes, episode 44. So yes, this is the episode where we discuss a load of.
Can I just address something?
What?
The elephant in the room. You.
Where we discuss
Also,
a load of worldly topics. We've changed a bit of the Zoom stance.
Why are you looking and talking like that?
And also, yeah, so we often, I think there's quite a few new subscribers now, so I don't know if they've watched all of them or if they've only watched the one, that's why they subscribed or whatever. But anyway, welcome. I'm Nafees.
I'm Aisha, and we are the Brownie Chat.
Perfect. Yes.
What?
So one thing to kind of note is we start off on something and we finish off on something completely different. When we started the podcast, remember we used to do the game at the end?
Oh, yeah.
And that used to be our thing. And then we transitioned into a quote. And then it's just kind of
riddle.
Just the riddle or the
what
quote.
quote?
No, riddle.
Oh, we did do, yeah.
Yeah, so it's riddle or quote. But obviously, you find yourself out anyway. And I've actually watched it. I don't watch podcasts, I listen to them.
Yeah.
But I've watched a few recently and I've kind of taken inspiration from
Yeah, which one have you been watching?
3 Shots of Tequila, I don't ever watch them.
Yeah, well, which one have you been watching?
I don't want to name drop. I don't want to name drop because this is our time to shine.
No, I'm talking about Joe Talk.
Yeah, I don't want to name drop.
Oh, honestly, that's such a good podcast.
That is a good podcast, but they are
They've got a proper setup though.
So do we.
No, but I mean the mics and everything.
Yeah.
And the angles, when they're...
Yeah, but I always said that. No, I actually always said that.
No, I know
you said, no, wait. I always said that, and you said, but it's only 2 people.
But I don't
we need 2 camera shots.
They do it, but I prefer this. That people can see them, because imagine I'm talking, so in that episode, in that podcast, and also quite a few podcasts as well, where they do just camera shots at when that person's talking. So at the moment I'm talking, so it'll just be a camera shot. But then you won't see your reaction if I'm doing something. If I'm talking and you're if I'm being silly and you're reacting. Do you know what I mean? Now. Yeah,
no, I get that, but I think... Actually, was there any point in their podcast they were together?
The first episode, I remember they zoomed out and you could see their whole legs and feet and everything. Do you remember?
I remember. But no, I like this.
But I think but they've dedicated obviously must be a section in their house.
Well, no, they set up every week. They said that.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they said that last. They said this takes ages to set up.
Oh, I can't remember.
So they said that. Anyway, so.
But they have but they're camera angles so far back. They've got the whole of their back. Ours is just a wall and this, but they've got.
Yeah, but I guess they've got plant pots.
Obviously, they're much more richer than us. So
not even about richness. It's just about they had more of a platform to start with. Anyway,
that's what I'm saying.
So yeah, no, we've. Mashallah, we've got 135, I think, subscribers. Check. And yeah, no, thank you so much for subscribing and staying with us on our journey till this point.
I just want to say we have been away for that. We didn't post last week. We're obviously posting now, but he just got so busy with revising, so.
No, it's not my fault. No. I was ready to record. You've forgotten about this podcast.
And also, we've got last views, 193 views.
I know, that's really good.
Sorry, but we get 1K.
Yeah. So, obviously, this is pretty much my podcast now because she doesn't really get involved. So, but yeah, no, I enjoy it. I do like recording.
Oh, and also so do I. But I also wanted to say, just before I forget, that we obviously will post it every Friday. But I think we're going to.
Do you know what? Actually, let's not say a day. It's going to be once a week, Friday or Sunday. That's it.
Or Saturday.
basically Friday to Sunday, one of them days we'll be releasing an episode. I think
only because we have like you've got more work on.
There's
now.
just so much.
And
like,
also I'm starting to have more work on with like.
And there's other commitments. I think it's just a bit. It's a bit maybe neglectful of us to promise a day and then not release on that day. So it'll be any time between Friday and Sunday.
The weekend, yeah.
So could be Friday
but
sometimes.
Obviously, if you guys subscribe and you guys like us and you guys want us, then I feel like, I'm just being honest, I feel like we don't get much feedback from this.
Yeah, and it's a bit.
Sometimes it's like.
It's a bit frustrating as well because obviously we take time to record and put the effort in. Obviously, that's how it goes. Like you can't just expect people to just listen.
No, of course.
But it is like, for example, your podcast. Let me finish. Your podcast does get comments and feedback, and obviously you're honing in on a certain type of thing, like the relationship. But I also feel like there's not a lot of couple podcasts like this, like Asian podcasts. So is there something that you'd want to see more of, or like, are we doing something that's not engaging enough? I feel I listen to our podcasts when I'm listening back, and they're interesting. Like, I like them.
Sometimes I listen to old episodes
that's the thing. So maybe there's something that we're not hitting the spot with you guys. But I mean, yeah. So they do this thing where they say comment blah blah blah, which we used to do.
And we still do. We always say subscribe, comment, let us know.
No. Where you say comment makeup, for example.
But we did.
I know, but no one used to comment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So.
But I think also, can I say this, that when we started our podcast, we were just starting it and we had just our friends that knew of us, whereas when I was obviously doing the podcast with your mum, we've gained a bit of following on TikTok. So, and a few people then, obviously we were thinking podcast, but a lot of people saying, you guys should do a podcast together. So obviously it was just from what the followers that are following us wanted us to do. Whereas when we started,
we just started it because we wanted to,
and there was no one.
Yeah, there was no demand, I guess, for it.
Yeah, no one was like, "Oh, we want you guys to do a podcast," because nobody knew who we were.
But do you know what? Since we started the podcast game has changed completely. Like, there's so many more. There's so many people doing it now. So I do genuinely feel like when I started the Just Mates one, I was one of the first few that completely started it from that was the time when podcasts were coming in. So
COVID times.
Yeah, COVID times, and that's when I really found myself in a podcast and stuff. But so I've got the experience in watching and listening to podcasts and how they do, and I think maybe. But like, for example, 3 Shots of Tequila, they always have a guest on.
Astaghfirullah.
Why?
3 shots of tequila.
Yeah, that's all. Anyway, they always have a guest on, but they're always having guests on now. However, now their fan base are saying we want the episodes back where it's just you three.
Yeah.
And they're now, because they've built a following, so maybe we should do a series of guests or something. And change things up, and then have a guest every week, for example.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like who?
No. We'll sort that amongst us.
No,
I've got 3 people that I can get.
Okay.
So it's just arranging that, and maybe we need to do our episodes as normal, like we are, and then have 3 recorded in between whenever they're free, and then release them when we want to release them. Does that make sense? So we don't have to wait for them to be free to release the episode. We make our own episodes.
We just continue, and then
and then when they're free, we record the episode and then release it whenever we need to. So we might do a mini series of 3 guests. I don't know. But yes, so please subscribe.
And also,
if you are listening and you've got to this point, hit that subscribe button, because I feel like
turn your notification bell on.
And turn that notification bell on. I have a question. 2 questions today. One of them is deep, and one of them is just a casual kind of question. So, which one do you want to start with?
The casual.
Okay. You might not think it's casual though, but anyway, forget what we've done. Forget where we've been and stuff. what would your ideal perfect day and night be? So perfect
So
day
two
together.
different dates then?
No.
So like a whole day.
What would your perfect day together be
with you?
With me, yeah. Like, if you could do it, and you had the time, and we had it arranged, what would your perfect day, date / into the night be? What
Going
would you
to a
want to
different
do?
country for the day.
No, like
said.
activity. Like, would you want to do throughout the day? Because you could say going to another country. I'm talking about just a whole day. Imagine like we were in a country. No, imagine we were in a. Okay, let's say in a country. We're in a country and you want to do certain amount of things, and this would be your perfect day for you. That you'd be like, I actually feel so content that we've done this. I spent time with you. Blah blah blah. What would that look like to you?
Is this gonna happen then?
No, I'm just asking. Just answer. Like, tell me.
Do you know what? Actually, it's not even. I wouldn't even. I don't know how to explain it. Basically, I would want it as a whole surprise.
No, I get that.
No, but you're asking me, so let me answer. Stop trying to get me. No.
No, I just want to know in your head, like, say for example, for me, it would be like.
Yeah, so let me finish.
Okay,
I haven't finished.
Okay, I'll answer as well then.
So I want it to be like a complete surprise where you, even all like the night.
Oh yeah.
Or like the night before, you're like, right, we're gonna.
Night before, this is the day.
No, but like before, you're gonna go tomorrow. We're gonna be going somewhere.
Okay.
Like make sure up at 6 o'clock. We're gonna leaving. You said the whole day, so.
Oh yeah.
We're leaving.
You tell me.
We're leaving at like 8 o'clock. Like be ready by 8. Obviously, you don't tell me, and then either we would go to a different country for the day. Oh.
Yeah, this is completely like a dream. It's never going to happen. No, I'm just asking. No, I'm being serious. Like,
that's so mean.
No, but if you were in another country, what would your ideal day look like?
So then I would want to explore that city.
Okay.
Would like to go to that cafe, like really cute, like corner cafe. Okay, say for example, like we went to Paris, go to like really cute, like there's like really like aesthetically pleasing cafe. Have like breakfast there, because obviously we've been up early. Or we would be waking up at like 4 and then leaving for 6 or something. To get there for like 8.
Oh.
Okay. And then so we had coffee. No, I don't drink coffee, but we had our little breakfast. And then we go exploring for a bit, take some nice photos. Obviously, it depends on what time of the year it is. So if it's summer, maybe like we're trying to find like a cute little like. Also, there's a photographer with us as well.
Flipping, I am the photographer.
No, to take photos of us.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and then we end up in a hot air balloon. And we're seeing.
I think I need to ask, what would your perfect ideal day date be if we only had to spend 50 quid? No, I'm joking.
That's so mean.
No. I would love to be able to do that for you, but right now,
you're not going to.
funds are a bit like,
And then like you propose again.
What? I'm talking about like a casual date, but like a day on my day.
Okay, let me do extreme and then one like.
Okay, that's your extreme.
Okay, so then like you do like a little setup. You set up something like a really cute surprise thing. Maybe we're celebrating our anniversary, so you have like, I love you, happy 1 year. I'm not 1 year, but happy whatever. Probably like 70 year by this time it's gonna be. And then, why do you look stressed?
I wish I didn't ask. No, carry on.
And then like,
it's cute
then we
that
go
you
out for.
like, think that this is gonna happen.
That's so mean.
No, I'm joking.
You're actually so mean. You're so mean.
So no, carry on. So proposal and stuff, yeah.
Not proposal, but like
a
surprise of like
gesture or something.
Yeah. And then like I've got a massive bunch of roses that you've given to me, and then we go out for dinner because obviously I'll be like, oh my god.
Obviously, yeah.
And
I don't understand. Carry on.
Yeah, and then like a really nice dinner, like a really cool, like a nice restaurant where it's not like I can't eat anything because I'm a bit fussy. And I'm like, oh, like whatever's on the menu, I can eat whatever.
Yeah.
And it's obviously halal. And then.
Why are you saying? Yeah.
Because like, if we're in a different country.
Okay. Yeah.
If you go to just any restaurant, you can't have anything because it's not halal.
Okay.
But if it's halal, then we can eat whatever we want. And then like, do you know what I've always really wanted to do? I've always wanted like, just like outside, it's in the, people see in the movies, but just me and you, and there's like fairy lights around, okay, and the music's playing and we're just having a little dance.
Okay, no, yeah, fair enough.
You're so
annoying. I just said, yeah, that's nice little scenario. I'd probably say the same, to be fair.
Like, I've always wanted it, like it's night time, summer night, and then fairy lights above us and around us.
Shall I tell you mine?
Wait, I haven't finished. Having a little dance and stuff, and then we just go down to the beach. I've always wanted to go down to the beach in the sunset and just get some cute photos and stuff like that, and then like come home, and then like obviously the child is up in the hotels.
Okay, at least it gives me a time frame there. Okay. No, like
but
seriously.
But actually, like I would love that.
When you actually,
even if that happened in the UK.
When you break that down, people, when you actually really break down what she just asked for, it's not much. It's actually not much. You're not asking for like expensive.
So why are you going?
Oh, shut up! No! I'm being serious now. Like, it's expensive wise. Yeah, you might have to spend a bit of money, but they're not impossible things that can't happen.
No, because it's just dinner.
It's just dinner.
No dance. Like,
yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so yeah, okay. It's like tell you mine, and then.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to know.
No, yeah.
So for me, it'd be I want to get up early. I want to be up early, and whether it's in this country or not, I don't care about country-wise. To be fair, like ideally, I'd do the exact same. I'd want to be like a nice, like bougie kind of cafe. That's my kind of vibe. I'd be there, coffee, whatever, and music as well in this cafe or whatever. And then for the day, I'd love to go to like a few, not just one, 2 or 3 exhibitions, and like, but cool exhibitions. So not just art, but like experiences, like the lights and
like
stuff,
like
the bubble stuff.
And that was so cool.
Do like 2 or 3 of them, so that because I love that kind of digital experience stuff.
Yeah.
So I'd love that, and then go somewhere for lunch. I wouldn't care about lunch. Lunch is lunch.
I would just say like, okay, let's say this is yours.
So we'd just go somewhere casual for lunch, but we can get like a nice few photos. Ideally, I'd love to be able to like just stop whenever I want. I want it to be a picturesque place, so stop wherever I want so I can get pictures, not of myself or you, but like us as well, but of the scene, of the places, take some videos and stuff, and have my own camera with me, so like the big cam DSLR.
Yeah, I know what a camera is.
No, so I'd have that with me. I'd take like pictures.
I know also my Polaroid.
Okay, yeah, this isn't about you. So, and then I would like to transition into like a nice like dinner. So we'd have an early evening dinner, right? And then my perfect date night would be like, you know, you get them old film showings on like projectors.
I was just gonna say that.
But I'd want it to just be us.
Yeah.
And then like a beanbaggy thing, but in like a big projection on like some white cloth in the night or whatever, or not indoors, but outdoors
yeah,
with fairy lights, whatever. But just us two, and then we can get served snacks throughout and stuff like that. And then I would like to like take a long walk after, like just half an hour walk, and then we just like stroll around like together in the night, and like safely, obviously, because you know always safe. But then, and then we come back, and then we chill, and then we watch our own like thing, like film at the hotel or whatever as well. And that would be my ideal date. So I'm not actually asking for much, to be fair.
But you want someone to come out and give us snacks?
No,
So
that's just no, you don't hire. That's like the service.
Yeah, you can do that.
What? So yeah, that's kind of how I'd want it to be.
Yeah.
But also on the flip side, I'm actually super easily pleased. Like I'd happily just go to a nice cafe in London and go out for a film, and that'd be a perfect day for me. Go out for a film in London, like the cosy seats and stuff, and then just walk around London.
Have you ever done drive-through? Cinema drive-through?
No, there's one in Enfield, I think, and there's one in somewhere else.
I've been to one there, it's quite fun, but I'm not.
Yeah.
When I went and it started raining.
Do they give you lap trays in your thing?
No, literally when you go, they just give you we got crisps and popcorn.
You could just take your own stuff too.
You could literally take your own stuff. I think we actually took our own stuff. But part of the ticket, you also get popcorn. I think it was just popcorn actually.
Should we look to do it?
Yeah.
I actually really want to do it.
But it's not as aesthetically pleasing as what you think.
Depends what time of year you go though. Like if
we went in summer. And I've also done outdoor cinema as well. That was quite fun. We took our blankets.
I wanted to do that in rooftop. You can do that in London as well. Look, there's a rooftop place that does it. But yeah.
You know that's shut down now.
No, that's something else. That's the golf place I'm talking about.
Yeah, but they also had a cinema up there as well.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, but now it's shut down.
Got on fire, did it?
Something like that, yeah. That was such a cool place.
Yeah, I liked that. I would go back there again. But,
but it wasn't
it wasn't as bougie as
not even bougie, but I would want it bigger. Because sometimes you had to wait, didn't you?
Yeah.
And things like that. And the golf was actually
It was just
really
on the car park though. It was just
because it was an old car park.
Yeah.
But that's such a cool idea though.
Yeah. Okay, next part of this is, and you'll really have to think about this.
This is a deep one.
It's deep, but it's not. But also, you'll get why. What advice have you been given? This is part one of this question. What advice have you been given that has substantially changed your life and you always live by it throughout your life? Like something you always think about, or not even that you always think about, but if you're asked this question, there's one thing that comes to mind, right? Advice. And what advice do you feel like you've given that you feel like has been super impactful and really benefited someone?
I wouldn't say advice, but when you asked me that question, the first thing that came to my mind, it wasn't advice, it was someone telling me something that then made me want to not prove them wrong.
Not prove?
No, prove them wrong.
Okay, go on,
I think I mentioned this before, but in college someone said you'll never get to university.
Okay.
And they were like...
So that's more of a prove me wrong situation.
Yeah.
I'm talking more about, I'm talking about advice, like something... It's not even direct advice. Someone says, "Oh, you could try this, and it's really changed your life." Or
I think ever since I've gotten closer to my dean.
What?
In terms of just
no, but yes,
trusting everything I do. Actually, everything happens for a reason.
You truly believe that?
I truly believe that, yeah, and I've always believed that. And I remember, I'll give you one example. So I remember me and Dad went Tesco once, and I bought eyeliner. Dad bought me a makeup product and or something, I don't know what it was. Anyway, as we were walking back, I lost it, and I got really annoyed. And I was like, "What? I think we literally just bought it. How have I lost it?" And Dad was like, "Well, everything happens for a reason. It doesn't matter." Similar situation. Do you remember Tamagotchis? And also, so there was Tamagotchis, which I used to love playing with, and then there was also a thing called Neopets.
Yeah, I know.
So I used to have a Neopet, and my Neopet was called Aisha, right? And it was my favourite thing. And I remember we went to London once. Again, I was with Dad in this situation. There's always Dad that's always said this to me. And so I was with Dad, and I was playing with it, and then put it back in my bag. And then when I got home, it wasn't there. I lost it. And I was really annoyed. I was like, "Why is it gone? It's like it's my favourite toy, and I'd only had it for like a week, so it was like a brand new thing. And Dad always said, you know, everything happens for a reason. Like things go missing, or you might not get something in life, and he'd always say, everything happens for a reason. And I don't know, as a kid I was like, but I don't really understand it. Yeah. But as I got older, like I say it to you all the time, I say to everyone, like, if you don't get this job, or if you don't pass this exam, or if you don't do this, or, you know, even if it hasn't happened yet, it's because it's not happened. And then obviously that's transformed into, or what's the word? Transformed into Dean, in the sense of, because it's not meant to happen. You know, like, and I always say that to other people. So your question of what advice, I always give that advice or that saying to other people, that just because you're not married yet, it's not because of you. It's just not your time, and everything happens for a reason. And if you think about the situation that you're in, would you want to be in that situation whilst, for example, if you're not married and you're not happy with yourself, maybe the reason is because you need to learn to love yourself first before being able to pass that love on to someone else. So I really stand by. What's wrong with you?
Oh yeah, you're
Why do you look so sad?
Because
everything happens for a reason. My dad telling me that, and then me also giving that advice. Because I even say that to the kids, like I've worked with. Like I said, everything happens for a reason. And to always be kind in that situation, or just don't give up type of thing.
I guess mine is similar as well. It's like when one door opens, another closes, and when one door closes, another opens. Because like I've often been in situations, and I still do get like this, where I dwell on something wrong happening, but then for that thing.
Can you hear that?
No, I can't. For that thing happening that went wrong, it's opened up something else to happen that's probably been right for me. Like, for example, jobs wise, like I've been in a bad situation with like a job being made redundant or whatever it might have been, and then it's opened me up to be in a more like fulfilling position doing something else, and or giving me the time to start something else or do something like the PT course or whatever. Like, that's a result of something bad happening, not dwelling on it, and then another door opening and showing me that I can do this. And I guess it's the same as everything happens for a reason, but it's more so that whatever does happen, it leads you on to something else better.
Yeah, and also you might not be like I said, you might not be ready for that.
For example, you know, like the one job that I wasn't really happy with at all for the 6 months. I imagine now I'm imagining, like, because I'm a bit more experienced, you could say, even in that small period of time in things. If I was to go back to that role and it was in a different location, I reckon I could have really like done well and exceeded in that job, because I wouldn't have been dwelling on something else that's impacting that. So obviously it's all circumstantial, but my thing is, and it's so cliche, and so is yours, like so cliche, like everything happens for a reason. Mine is, when one door closes, another opens.
But if you really like deep both of those things, it's not really, because people just say, oh, everything happens for a reason, just like a passing comment, not actually like really understanding what that means. And I was saying, like, Dad always said it to me, and I was like, I was just like, why does he always say that?
But you've always said it to me as well, like both of these things that we're talking about, you've said, and obviously we're super like fickle and naive in the moment, and we'll be like, oh, no, it's so annoying, like, well, I can't believe it, and stuff like that. And obviously you always tell me, and actually you're probably better at this than I am, when a situation happens, like, you probably deal with it a lot better. Like, you'll be like, it's annoying, but it is what it is, kind of thing. And you're probably more stronger in that sense to just say that and believe it, whereas it might take me a little longer.
But I think it's because you've always said this, whereas I'm not sort of failed in life in that sense, but if you've always been able to achieve what you wanted, And now there's been a few obstacles where...
Do you know what? You're actually that's so true, because up until like I've been 18 or even 20, 21, even actually say my first job where I was there for 3 years, right? Up until that point, there was nothing in life that I wanted that I hadn't achieved, right? Like, so for example, losing that first job, I was made redundant because of COVID and everything. That was the first time in my life that I fully felt like, oh shit, like this
you
is...
feel like you failed or whatever.
I failed, like I haven't achieved what I wanted to. And I was at that point where I was wanting to leave myself. Like I wanted to... This is what gets me a lot, but I wanted to leave and I was going to be looking for another role. But then God obviously had other plans, and obviously I was made redundant and then wasn't able... But then that position transcended into me, one, finding you as well, because in that period of time, that's when that happened. Two, finding a podcast. I would not be half as confident as I am on this podcast if I didn't had done my old one. And three, like, it led me to find Go-Getters. Like, I'm super proud of that. Like, I wouldn't have had that opportunity if that didn't happen. But at the time, you're so right. Like, I'd never actually thought it'd be like this, but I'd, in my head, disappointed myself, or even though it was circumstantial, I'd failed. And I've always been like, say for example, you know, when I was doing muscle ups when we got together and I learned that in 9 days and stuff like that, I'll always achieve what I want. And now, in these last few years, there's been quite a few things that...
So that's what I'm saying, whereas for me, like growing up, like I didn't... For example, like GCSEs, I didn't do well in my GCSEs, so I failed them. Then when I went to college, like I did a bit better than I did in GCSE. So I have like failed along the way. Like I wasn't clever in primary school. I was always in the lowest ability group. One, because I was, just because of obviously my health and stuff, so I wasn't actually always there. So I've have always failed and then got up, failed and then got up, failed and then got up.
So you've been used to
so
that.
So now when I'm like, oh, whatever, like, because I'm just used to, like, I know.
Not disappointment, but you're used to, like, having to try extra hard.
Yeah, not even that, not about trying extra hard, just that, for me, nothing's going to happen straight away. So, for example, like, my driving test, or my theory test, or my job interview, I've never got the first... it's always the second time, and
you said this about that second interview.
Yeah, every time,
like, jobs. And
so when I got the job, when I moved and we got married, first one I didn't get, but I got the next one. Same with this current job, didn't get the first one, but I got this one. Same with that just turned off. Same with like my theory, and also my driving test, didn't pass the first time, but passed. So
but
now
I need to be more accepting of that being a situation.
Yeah, because I'm just saying, like, your situation where, like you said, the last couple of years, you've had a few interviews, but you hadn't got the first one, but you still end up getting one. It's not like you'd never get one. And for example, you had an interview a couple of weeks ago, you didn't get it, but that means the next interview, inshallah, you will definitely get. And if you don't get that third time lucky rule or whatever it is, and I think because you've not experienced much failure in that sense, you did well in your GCSEs, you got really good grades, you did really well in uni, because even like my uni, I got two in uni, undergrad, but in my masters I got a commendation, which is like not a distinction, but it's the next. So it's still, for a master's, so good, and I was really shocked. I was like, I've always failed, well, not failed, but always got like low marks, but in my masters I got really good marks, and now I
guess it's like, but in your life it's like practice then perfect kind of thing. Like, you had the first practice run, now it's your time.
Yeah, and just even things like just little things like, I don't know, my first lesson I taught as a HLTA didn't go as well, but the next time it was better. And because
it's just patience, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't have that. They just want it to happen there and then.
So that's the same thing with like people that start podcasts. Actually, they do like 2-3 episodes
and give up.
It's not even actually about giving up. People want instant results. So, and I always use this quote. I think Mum told me this quote. Funnily enough, is like, if you want to fill a bath of water, right, and
Do you know
the
what time we
tap's
started, by the way?
yeah, there's a tap's broken, but you turn it on and it only drips like once every minute, for example. If you were to just give up and lose hope and just turn the tap off and not leave it running, you would get nowhere. But if you just waited and let that tap fill, and bit by bit it will like fill the bath, then within like a few hours the bath will be full. You'll have waited and you'll have got what you wanted. People want things straight away. Like people, like for example, like I'm probably guilty of it as well. Like followers on like my gym
I was
account
just
and
gonna
stuff
say,
like that.
you know, like with TikTok.
With TikTok,
And
people.
you more so.
I was more apprehensive about it, and like.
No, not even that. As in, Facebook, say for example, I post a video, me and your mum. I'm not bothered, like if it doesn't hit 10k within the first day. Whereas you and your mum both like, why is it? It's all done well, and you always hear me say, yeah, this is alright. It's just a video. Like it's not that deep.
No.
But that's just an example. I'm saying is that you're wanting the instant 10k views there and then, but it doesn't. Life doesn't work like that. Like if you can't. Some people are very lucky and things just happen to them. And for example, they post a video and it gets 100 million views. Okay, this is just an example. But in the same with like a job, you know, they've started a job and 2 months later they're now on the next position. And whereas like someone like you might have to wait 2 years to get to that position. Some people are just very lucky, and Allah loves them more than you, clearly. No, but do you know what I mean? Like some people have to work a little bit harder.
Slowly more accepting of that, because obviously, one, I don't have a big following anyway, so we have to work a bit harder, and two, like it's not just about our content. It actually isn't. It's more so about what the platform is doing. Like if the algorithm's all messed up, or if, say for example, it's a bad day for everyone. Like I think it's just being more accepting that it can take time. Has that stopped?
No, it still says recording.
But yeah, so I think it's just about patience, and it really is a virtue if you just wait.
But it is. I can also understand it because you see, like, I'm just using TikTok as an example, but it happens in life as well. For example, someone who does a silly dance on TikTok
can get so
many views, and we're like, for example, like
trying to do something good,
positive, and it's like, why is no one seeing us?
It's the same with my gym content though. I know I always say this.
So much effort in.
I put in so much effort, and obviously it's not always about what you put in, because you can just make the least amount of effort and get the most out of it. But what's frustrating and aggravating is I'm trying to make a positive impact with the gym stuff, and like I want people to look at it and like be inspired. That's my actual thing. Like as much as like people think it's all aesthetic, like it is. I want to inspire people. There's so many people. Like I saw Ryan the other day. I was talking to his brother for ages about gym, because he started doing like home workouts and stuff. And I was talking, and that's when I didn't tell you this, but that's when I really found that what I'd learned in my PT stuff, I was applying to him. Like I was telling him about like the joints, I was talking about when you was asking me, what's a synovial joint? Like I knew what that was now. Like I could explain what things were, and a lot of people just throw things around because they've just read it, but I actually understood what I was saying. But anyway, so that made a positive impact. Louis was really up for like hearing more and stuff like that. So that's what's annoying. Like I'm trying to do some really nice content and some like I'm trying to build my page.
But we also got to remember there's literally 7 billion of us in the world, and we're just one person.
How are we standing out?
We got to, one, stand out, and two, we are literally one person against the other. How many?
Yeah,
people
I know. We're not alone. And probably hundreds of other people feeling the exact same way I'm doing. Like getting 200 views, and then all of a sudden they get one. But it's about not stopping, and
and everyone says that when you hear about businesses, when you hear about
you just have
people,
to keep going.
You just consistency, like posting, for example, out on TikTok or social media or whatever, or even a business in regards to business, giving 20% every day, or even whatever.
Amounts to 100% at the end,
and doing that, because eventually it will end up being something. It just might take like 10 years.
Yeah.
Because like even like for example the Jai Talk thing, they got those two, but then we've got to remember they've been on YouTube for like 4 years. So they just started their podcast the same time me and your mum has, and your mum suggested they've got already 120,000 followers, but they've been on YouTube for 4 years.
Building that,
and they started their podcast at 120,000 followers, not at 0. We started as well, on YouTube we've started at 0, but on TikTok we've started at 7,000, whatever.
Yeah.
But then also, if you look at it from June till now, so it's been 3 months, we've gained 5,000 followers. Well, I've gained on my.
Same. And I was on 1,000 something, and I'm now nearly 6,000. So.
Yeah, so we've gained.
So it does chip away slowly.
But then also, then that's such a small number. That is such a small number in comparison to people who've got millions and.
Yeah, but they've been doing it for years, though. That's the thing, and it's people stop, and they have and that's what also halts your growth as well. Is when you stop for a period of time, but then get back on it. Say, for example, you stop for a month or even a week. It does impact your following because then people just think, oh, they're not consistent, or they don't really care about what they're putting out. Because we're obviously trying to appeal to certain people, and if they see that we're not trying, then they're not going to care so much about us.
But it's hard because life also gets in the way.
But yeah.
And sometimes people don't have time to post every day.
Yeah.
But it depends because if, like, for example, if I didn't work, then I can easily dedicate my whole.
But then you'd have to take the risk of obviously
not having a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry. So this has been episode 44. Thank you for listening, and I think the main takeaway for this is
everything happens
for a reason. Patience is a virtue, and like 1% a day is 100% better after a while. What?
You had to put that in the 1%.
The 1% better every single day slowly chips away to being 365% better at the end of the year. So
what?
Well, yeah, if you amount it from a year,
yeah.
So when you get to the end of the year, you're 3.5 times better than you were now, 300% better than you were now. So it really does amount up. But yes, thank you for listening. You can also find us on Spotify at the same handle, the Brownie Chat Podcast.
And all 44 episodes are on there.
All 44, yep. So if you want to recap on a few, then yeah, feel free to. We've obviously got so many part 2s to do now. We've got like the love one, got the questions, got a few. But inshallah, we'll get some guests on soon.
Yeah,
I've got a few people in mind. We just need to arrange it, and then we can go from there. But let's test people. If you got this far, comment patience. So if you got to this point, comment patience and
subscribe.
Subscribe,
share, comment, subscribe,
share everything. Also follow us on our social platforms, which will be here, blah blah blah, wherever. We're trying to make a change for the better. This is also obviously it's not so serious. We're still having a laugh and stuff, but. Really do appreciate your support, and obviously 135 is better than nothing. So
well, yeah, like 2 months ago we were on like
and
70.
We were stuck on 70, 75. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's what I mean again. Like from when we started to now, 135 people, even if they're not all listening, a percentage of them are impacted by what we're doing. So you can't just get stuck on numbers, I think. But this has been episode 44.
It does help, though.
It does help. So please. Subscribe. This is episode 44, and we will catch you next week for another week.
To be continued.